So, without further ado, who are you for those who may not know you?
Yes, I am TD Flenaugh. I am a podcaster. I have the Falling for Learning podcast, and I'm an author and a career educator. Really, the crux of what I do is about helping parents and caregivers help the next generation get on track for learning and to stay on track for success.
So that rolls right into my next question. You said it right out the gate. You are an educator. So tell us a little bit about that. What inspired you to become an educator?
Yeah, so actually, I have been teaching for a very long time. My first student, I would say, is my sister that I taught how to read when I was in third grade. We had a situation in our family where our mother left temporarily, and when she left, my sister was going into the kindergarten, and I thought it was very important that she learn how to read. So I went through the process of teaching her to read, using newspapers, using letter cards, sound spelling correspondence. And ever since that point, I've been teaching people. When my mom returned to the family, we had a tutoring organization in the basement of our church with my
Wow.
aunt and my mother. And I was one of the tutors that was teaching the different kids that I went to church with and people in the neighborhood how to read. And I officially became a teacher in the year 2000. I got my first class, but it's something that I have been doing for a very long time just because I felt at the time when I was a kid that I knew how to read when I went into kindergarten, and my sister
Right.
really needed to know how to do that too. And since my mom was gone, it was me. So,
Understood. So I'll speak for myself personally. I always think back to my early schooling experience. I did not see a lot of teachers that looked like me, that
mm.
were black teachers. So what tell us what your experience has been like being a black teacher and teaching maybe students that look like you.
Well, it's a great question. When I first came into my teaching, I was in a little private school, and it was a school with the Black kids. So I really felt like I could resonate. We worked together, and I could talk to the parents. We had messages, and communications with each other that helped resonate. We understood one another, and it helped with the students to really thrive. Once I moved into public school, the next school year, I moved to Los Angeles. I actually started in a predominantly Black school with actually predominantly Black female teachers, in fact.
Oh, wow.
And I really thought that's what the district was like, which but it wasn't. It was just that school. and it was what I did learn because I actually grew up in Alaska. I didn't grow up in Los Angeles or even Sacramento. But yeah, there were definitely some cultural differences. I went to Clark Atlanta University, so I really understood, there's a lot of cultural differences between Black people. There are some commonalities, of course, but there are a lot of cultural differences. So in that way, I did have to learn, to work with the students and learn about their culture and to respect, obviously validate the culture they come to with the classroom, talk about those commonalities, affirm, how they interact and what they do and build on that.
That was a very detailed and great answer. So you at the beginning, I think you said that your hope is to help parents or caregivers bring up the next generation of kids. Because as we all say, or as I say, these are going to be our leaders, our doctors, our
Yes.
politicians. So it's important that we really instill a lot of our time in the youth to make sure that they are brought up right and that they're educated. So what's a piece of, you can one or two pieces of advice that you would give for a parent or a guardian who is bringing up a child?
Yeah, so the very first thing, I have the Falling for Learning podcast, and the reason why it's called Falling for Learning because it's really about getting kids to love learning. And there's a lot of things that we do. Definitely, my family has done, to turn kids off from learning, and they're not doing it on purpose. They're really intense about it, and they really know that it's important. But translating that to kids, it doesn't always translate.
Right.
So think about how you could have fun with them learning. And one of the main things about that is listening to them, giving them some choice about the activities that you do, and making sure you help them understand. The third thing, helping them understand that failure is part of the process, mistakes are part of the process, and help them to reframe the way they see failure or setbacks or mistakes. And that's going to help them, that choice. Make sure, first of all, that it's fun, giving
Right.
them a choice, listening to them, and then three, of course, making sure that they have they understand part of the process is failing, and reframing what that is like, what failure is, or setbacks or mistakes.
So I want to piggy right off of the point that you made. If you have a general, what's a general fun way to learn that you could give someone on a general level?
With general, you could gamify whatever you're doing, right? Like, let's, make a game about it. There's lots of apps and activities that already can make a game. Like, let's ask questions about, do you remember what we went over? You also could just make a game, just simple, like you're in a car, we've done this, like, what colors do you see if they're younger? Like, what colors do you see? What, letters do you see? What type of cars, different things that you notice reading as you're going through, like read this sign, read that sign, or just spelling it. So some friendly competition. There could even be like little rewards or something like that. So making games of it when you can.
That was a very good piece of advice. I also saw something that you said that you share information that I think this is a direct quote. You want to share information that aims to support parents and caregivers in getting the next generation on track for learning and to stay on track for success. So, what's your definition of success?
Good question, right? Because we all have, a lot of people think, okay, you get your degree or you do this, but really, I am thinking in terms of, having the skills that you need to make your dreams come true. So that could be, being able to make it to and through college. That could be building a business that is thriving, that makes, employs other people, that gives people a living wage, that makes a living wage for you and your family, that you could pass down to the next generation.